muscle grip. They forcing misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature, that mean extorted it. They forging it. If news ain't good, informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we porting ships, important gifts. Of course it is, what extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
In the world. All right, I think we're good. How's it going? Long time no see. I'm trying out OBS, so it is possible we can run into some technical difficulties, you know. And I know it's a shocker, but I was a little late, and I think Aaliyah's having a little issue with her teeth right at 9:30. So. How's it going? So, yeah, I guess we have some stuff to talk about. So, a lot of people have been asking me my opinion about the Trump situation, of course. And how's the new baby? Good. If you don't know, yes, of course, we did recently have a baby, Aurora. So, I will say this. I was very reserved with me saying anything publicly when I first saw it. And I actually have a bias to say that it is completely staged, to say it's a psyop, because I made the prediction a while back. I've made it multiple times, 4 years ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, that they were going to, and all throughout, that they would very likely at some point stage a false flag assassination attempt of Trump because he would landslide. He'd be like the hero, you know, the deep state's trying to take him out. I also said, or in theory, they could even actually take him out if they wanted to bring about civil unrest. I don't think they would. And even as far back as when I did the Antichrist stream, I don't think Trump is the Antichrist, but I did do a stream basically still manning that 4 years ago. And I said, maybe there's an assassination attempt. He gets hit in the head. People think he's going to die, but he survives. That's not what this was, of course. But anyway, all that to say that I actually have a bias to be like, I knew it. You know, I was right. I made the prediction. And so that was like an additional reason that I was really reserved and patient. Also, I watched all of these truthers, and there's a whole spectrum of people that call themselves truthers. You know, they're like, JFK. You know, it's like, yeah. And the earth isn't what you were told it is. But anyway, they rushed to make statements. So there's the group that's for sure knew it was all completely faked as soon as it happened, no questions asked. And there was the group that knew it was real, and a lot of people really want it to be real because it's really good for Trump. It's really good for in the optics of an election, and his support, the stories saying fight, all that, right? So I encourage people to learn from this and to be more patient with definitive claims, because as more information comes out, this gets more and more sketchy. And that's another reason I held off on it. I mean, what we're going to cover tonight is everything that I have to this point, but obviously more and more stuff's going to come out. And what normally happens with these situations is the first 72 hours is where you get all the real stuff. And then after about 72 hours, you start getting the fake investigation narratives. So everyone's being told, just wait, this just happened. The investigation just started. There's an ongoing investigation. Just wait until, this just happened. Just wait on what, bro? Just wait on all the intel agencies and mainstream media to tell you what happened? I don't understand. Every time that something like this happens, people should immediately start pulling stuff off the internet and logging it, saving it, hard driving it, because it always gets memory holed and replaced. And perfect example of this is if you go look into 9/11 right now, information that was readily available recently, or all the way back to like 2010, is very difficult to find now. So there's a little bit of my disclaimers. I think everyone should chill. There's no reason that this should be like divisive. Everyone knew there was going to be crazy psyops this year, so this shouldn't be a surprise. So I do expect us to be able to talk on YouTube, but it is always possible I start to feel like I can't. We will then, of course, be moving over to Rumble, Rockfin, X. I think we're also streaming to Kick for the first time. I don't know, haven't checked it, don't know anything about it, but we'll see. So we should have 4 alternative platforms. I think we are streaming on Kick. So we will have X, Kick, Rumble, Rockfin. Witsit gets it on all platforms. So cool. All right. So how's it been? We'll save the catch up for afterwards. So if anyone, I will say I'm going to keep an eye on the chat because there's a lot of misinformation going on, and that's how it goes. But of course, if you were living under a rock, you didn't hear that. And everyone obviously knows Donald Trump was allegedly almost assassinated. There was an assassination attempt. And it was very underwhelming, to be honest. Very underwhelming. But the question is, option A, is the official story that they're telling us true, that there was some 20-year-old lone shooter that just hates Republicans, was registered as a Republican, but donated $15 to Joe Biden's campaign, and then is seen in a video on a college campus screaming F Republicans, talks about killing them, all this crazy stuff. And he just climbed up a ladder, jumped up there with his AR-15, and shot the president. Of course, the next option is he's a patsy. The Secret Service had some inside corruption, set it up to intentionally have that blind spot. The deep state's trying to get Trump. They set him up as a patsy. That has many different options underneath it. And I will say, I'm still currently on the fence. I think it's the wisest thing to do. It's either something like that. They actually did want to do some, mass trauma-based mind control to the public to watch everyone see his head explode. And if you can imagine, that would be very traumatic. People are still traumatized by JFK. And if you've looked into that, no one even knows what happened with JFK to this day. If you slow down and look at the driver reaching back, I mean, we just know it wasn't the official narrative. It wasn't a lone shooter named Oswald or whatever, right? So I leave that on the table, that mass hypnosis via trauma-based mind control of watching that happen to Trump, major civil unrest, and then the false flags are endless because you can blame it on retaliatory actions from Trump supporters, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's possible and that they messed up. The other option is that it's all fake, it's all staged, and it was all planned. I'm literally like 50-50, bro. Like on those two options. So we'll start looking into the information. You'll kind of see I do lean one way, but I'm just going to say 50-50 right now. And maybe as I go back through it, I'll even start to feel a certain way. But yeah, if you want to support the stream, Ko-fi.com/Witsit. I think super chats are opened again. You know how I feel about that. Don't trust it. Don't care. It's hilarious that I come back talking about this with super chats. So we'll see how long that lasts. Obviously, they take like 30% anyway, so it is preferable that it's just Ko-fi.com/Witsit. I'll read all those off. And a decent time to also support on Rockfin because their coin value is down. So the payouts maybe be more valuable than what the amount you send in. Okay, enough of that. I'll read all the donations. So I'm going to kind of break some of this down before we get into all the videos. I feel like all these disclaimers are very important, but I will point out with the whole lone shooter thing, 0% chance. 0% chance that's true. If you think that's even possibly true, I would encourage you not to use the word truth or to identify it. It is a 0% chance. Literally 0% chance. Okay, so we can rule that one out. If you want to hear about how there was some crazy deranged 20-year-old lone shooter that crawled up on the closest building 150 yards away from the president in an open field, pulled out his AR-15, was up there for 5 minutes, grandma in the crowd saw him, but the Secret Service didn't do anything, and it was just a random mishap and overlook of immense ineptitude and incompetence, and this guy just got up there, shot him, nicked his ear. If you want to believe that, you can. That possibility will not even be explored in this stream. I consider it to be 0%. Okay. And for obvious reasons. For one, this dude, if you look into the information you're getting about the guy that we're told to point the finger at, he failed out of like the shooting class in his high school. It's all just insane to think that it just gets worse and worse. We're going to cover a lot of it. I don't know how much you guys know already, but this is why a lot of people are jumping all these conclusions. So funny, you should have waited. They're now coming out saying that the building he was on was actually like one of the center holds for all the police. So all the police and even like some Secret Service snipers or something were in that building that he was on top of. Official story now is that the police were using that building. That's where they were. Also, of course, official story that a police officer climbed up the ladder, saw him, the guy turned a rifle, he got scared, ran away, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's watch it. I will say, obviously a bunch of people were like, oh, it's all fake. And if it's all fake, it's pretty impressive. It requires quite a few things, right? So it requires that picture of the bullet going by his head to be fake. Or option 2 is it requires that picture to be real. And the guy apparently had his camera on 8,000 frames per second. Which, if you were taking pictures of the president giving a speech that's going to be super long at a rally, why would you have your camera at 8,000 frames per second? What are you going to do with all those pictures? You know how fast you're going to fill up your memory card at 8,000? Now, if you thought you were going to have to catch a bullet, you may set your camera to 8,000 frames per second. So you can catch a bullet with a camera if you're set to 8,000 frames per second. It just seems wildly convenient that one of the only people that would have been even really taking pictures at that moment happened to have their camera set at 8,000 frames per second. But that could have been a non-lethal round. And that would explain why it doesn't sound like 5.56 from AR-15, right? Because it doesn't. Like, it just doesn't sound like a 5.56 round. To me, it sounds more like a 22, whatever. All right. So I'm just saying that they would have had to fake the picture, or the picture would have to be of a non-lethal round. The non-lethal round, still, you would say they didn't even hit him. You wouldn't take the chance of shooting a non-lethal round actually at his head. So they may have shot actual non-lethal rounds somewhat close to him so they could get the picture, but they knew worst case it wouldn't kill him. Although shooting a non-lethal round from 150 yards away or anything like that would be pretty risky. But intentionally missing him with a non-lethal round, you can get the picture. You can have the guy set up with 8,000 frames per second. That actually does make that part make sense, because why would someone do that? It's just ridiculous. Obviously, the normies are going to eat all this up. This stream's not for them. It's just a coincidence, Austin. All these are coincidences. So I'm trying to break all this down kind of quickly. We're going to get into the info, but everything that's presented here, typically on X, it has a bias behind it. But they could shoot the non-lethal round. I know just the easy thing is to go full RV, basically, right? And say that you know for a fact it's all fake. But you make us look really stupid if you just say that and you can't actually explain what you're saying. It would require that be a non-lethal round, there to be no bullet, for that picture to be faked, or that picture to be intentionally set up and taken of a non-lethal round, and simultaneously there to have been a real round shot, or no one actually died. I do not buy the narrative that all the people here are in on it. Why would you ever do that? This would be the worst way to run a psyop ever. So there's a lot. I'm realizing I could rant about all this because I have it in my head, and so I'd rather just show you guys some stuff. But I'm really going to say it again. I pumped the brake. It is very possible that they actually were just going to shoot him and make you watch it to mind control you. I consider that less likely, as crazy as that sounds. It's definitely possible. You know, that there's all kinds of corruption. They set it up. They had him walk out there like a useful idiot, and then they were just going to take him out. Think about how much more effective that would have been than this. Of course, let's just get into it. So first we'll just watch the video, the famous video.
Bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
I mean, this guy's just chilling. I will say, this is the part that makes me think that it's real. This is a pretty realistic reaction.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
That is a very realistic reaction. Now, someone has told me, like, well, we know that Trump has all this training as an actor. Yeah, like as a real reality TV actor who kind of just plays himself in it, and it's very cringe, and you can tell he's acting. Like, I mean, this is not that kind of acting. But sure, you know, I will throw that point on the table or whatever. I'm not gonna lie, like on just like a real pattern recognition meta kind of approach, the part that sells to me that it may be real more than anything else is how well he reacted. A lot of people are saying this isn't a realistic reaction. In the scenario that a bullet just barely nicks your ear, that is exactly how you would react. You would not even really be able to tell it. I've talked to people that have been shot, been grazed. Like, you just kind of feel fluid. You don't even know for sure it's blood at first. It's like a shock value. If you've ever sustained any type of serious injury, you don't even feel it at first. So it would make sense that he's just kind of like confused, bewildered, shocked, reaches at his ear. He's like very confused. He jerks his head once it hits him, and he thinks for a second, then he like reaches for it, and then he ducks. In my opinion, if this is completely staged, Trump did an amazing job. Amazing job. So anyway, and we're going to get into it. This whole situation is so sketchy. It's so weird. It's all so very weird. And obviously the QAnon group's going to run with this, and they're going to say, you know, God protected him. God chose him. God made him turn his head last second. Although there are QAnoners who are saying, well, we knew that they were the White Hats were going to fake an assassination attempt of Trump. We'll get into all that. Let's just watch it.
A couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Move it spare. Hold. When you're ready, on you.
Obviously, there's so much. This part makes it really look fake. Like this is very. As soon like the best acting was when he went down. After that, super fake. Why? Like the way the Secret Service is acting, behaving, talking, all of it's fake. We're gonna break all these videos down on X. They have them all zoomed in, slow motion, stuff like that. But lady in the background pulls out her phone super quick. But we do live in a day and age where people will watch someone bleeding out, watch someone be jumped, and just pull their phone out, and not even help like a female get jumped by guys. Like we see it every day, all day. That isn't, to me, that's not particularly shocking. Now I want to listen to the bullet. Now, if anyone here has been around guns, I'm not some expert, but I've shot a decent amount of guns of all calibers, right? Like I have a gun that shoots 7.62. I've shot a mini AR-15s. I got AR-10s, got 22s. I got a couple 9mm, right? This does not sound like 5.56 to me. That's my opinion. Doesn't sound like 5.56 at all. Now the return shot could have been a much bigger caliber that was suppressed. That sounds like potentially a sniper that may have a suppressor, and it's still loud because it could be like a sniper rifle. But I don't know what your guys' take on that. But let's just listen to the sounds again, because to me this leans into the non-lethal round theory.
Said, take a look at what happened.
I mean, I don't know. It is 150 yards away. Maybe it sounds somewhat like that. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It sounds like a 22. You hear the girl say, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" Like, can I just say what everyone's thinking? Like, why are, like, no disrespect, why do we have women in the Secret Service? I mean, like, are we just gonna pretend that isn't weird? Bro, look, those women crushed their job for the last 7 years because Secret Service is a super boring job. But whenever something serious like this happens, like, it just isn't a job for a woman, bro. You know, but anyway, to each their own, I guess.
Move it spare. Hold. When you're ready, on you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare. Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready. Are you ready? Shooters down. Shooters down. Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a lot of experience watching Secret Service in super crucial moments, but this seems so grossly inept that I just, like, instinctively think this must be poor acting. It is possible that they're all jabbed, or, like, I don't know, just super, like, this is not competent at all. Like, at all.
We're clear. We're clear. We're clear.
You're not going to hear the bullet from 200 yards away. I get if it's 130 to 150 yards away. I've shot mini weapons back and forth from over that distance. I agree. Maybe it could be a 5.56. I'm just saying it kind of sounds more like a 22 to me. You know, agree to disagree, man. Agree to disagree. Like this, like, you don't get so emotional about how you think for sure it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill. Because what's for sure is that they are lying about all of it. There were multiple shooters. If there's multiple shooters, we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? If there's multiple shooters, then what's really going on here? Now, again, I think it's very possible they really wanted to just make you watch this dude get assassinated, because that would be insane. It would be very, very traumatic.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. My shoes.
Definitely 100% not fake. See, it's stuff like that I'm like trying to warn people against. That was the whole reason I didn't just jump right into it. It's like, just, I encourage you not to say things like that, bro. And we should move off YouTube because there are different events that I can use as comparisons here that people said a lot of the same things, and we know for a fact they're fake at this point. For a 100% fact that they were faked. And that doesn't necessarily mean there are no casualties, nothing like that. Does it? You know, like let me come full screen and break down some of the straw mans I hear a lot. And it's very like the Earth conversation. Anytime there's emotion involved, people start strawmanning the other side so they can like subconsciously convince themselves of how confident they are in their position. So let me come over here. So people were like, there's no way that it was staged. Do you think that they had it planned to such a T that Trump turned his head and had trained and practiced to turn his head just the right way? So when they shot it, nicked his ear? No, of course not. That's impossible. No, I've never heard anyone suggest that. That's insane. If it was faked, there was a non-lethal round that wasn't even shot at Trump. Nothing actually hit Trump's ear if it was faked. Mind you, we're going to look into it. I mean, the wound looks weird, bro. Like, okay, so no one thinks that. No one thinks that it was so staged that he just knew to turn his head at the right moment so that the bullet would graze him. What in the world are you talking about? No, I've never heard anyone suggest that. That's insane. So that's what, when you were thinking, could it be faked? That's what you thought. And then you're like projecting that onto other people. Like, no, of course that didn't happen. They wouldn't even do that with a non-lethal round. Because what if it actually hit him in the head? If someone sees a non-lethal round hit him in the head, that's game over. What happens then? Why is there some shooter shooting non-lethal rounds at the president, right? Like, if it was faked, nothing touched Trump at all. And I think to me, it looks like a genuine reaction as if he got hit. You know what I'm saying? The main point here is that the whole internet's arguing about like how incompetent the Secret Service is. No, they're extremely competent, which is why everyone thinks there was one shooter, which we're about to prove definitively that there was more than one shooter. 100%, there was more than one shooter. So then that also leans into the possibility of being faked. Non-lethal rounds in Trump's vicinity, simultaneously real rounds being shot at certain people in the audience. Now you have real deaths. You know, that doesn't really fit with the whole like white hat Trump fake the assassination thing, but Douglas gonna kill patriots. Anyway. Like Trump could be playing a role in a movie and he's just an actor. The director doesn't come tell him every revision to the script, right? He just is an actor. And he may not have known they were going to kill him. Now, I don't know. We're going to get into it. Let's just get through this video. It's taking way too long. I'm reading the chat too much. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. We should have a decent amount of people in here now. All right. This is all very interesting to me. And we can go through some of the official narratives. They've come out and said that the building that the shooter was on is where all the cops were. That a cop went up the ladder, saw him. Now they're saying that the actual sniper saw the guy twice, that a Secret Service sniper saw the guy twice, even took a picture of him, reported him over the course of like 15, 20 minutes, reported him twice. No details on whether or not he had a gun or not, right? We got people on the crowd. At the worst, they were like intentionally trying to kill Trump from within. That's like the bare minimum conspiracy that exists here. The bare minimum conspiracy that exists. And that's why I did make my first post here. I made my first post that very thing because it's obvious, right? Like, I mean, here, I'll show you. Which one is that? I think that's Chrome. Yeah. So the first post I made, it was obviously orchestrated. The Secret Service does not just accidentally overlook a roof with a direct line of sight, right? And then I made a follow-up. Secret Service doesn't just accidentally overlook the closest roof in an open field with a direct line of sight to the president, just like Israel doesn't randomly abandon their border right before it gets attacked and then take hours to respond. You know how stuff like that happens? It's orchestrated. And then people start freaking out. Oh, yeah, if it was orchestrated, then how did someone turn their... you're telling me that he just turned his head just the right time? I'm like, no, what? I'm just saying, like, at the least, they really tried to kill Trump, and it was all orchestrated from the inside. You know what I'm saying? Now, keep in mind this right here, this water tower, because now it's coming out. Multiple witnesses say they saw a shooter on the water tower. And when we start to examine the video of the crowd behind Trump, you're going to see there had to be more than one shooter. You're literally going to see that undeniably be more than one shooter. But so anyway, I was just making that point here. To me, that's obvious. So the Secret Service, what do? They immediately check roofs. That's the closest roof. It is so ridiculous to pretend that they just overlooked that roof. Come on, bro. Right? I mean, that doesn't happen. Now, like, it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you've been. The reason so many people just knee-jerk are saying it's fake is because we've seen them orchestrate mass shootings. We've seen declassified documents where they admit they're going to do it, and they go in depth, and they even have real casualties and stuff like that, right? So, you know, that's kind of where we are here. So, let's watch a few of the videos I have here. Okay, now this one isn't like a smoking gun or anything for me, but it is pretty weird. So let's play this.
To our country, probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened to our country. Probably 20 million.
So it could be a coincidence that he tells the guy to move out of the way. Who knows? Now, here is a part that obviously a lot of people are saying this is proof that God saved him. Obviously, the statistical odds of him turning his head just the right moment, if that was a real bullet that grazed his hair, which I'm still confused. How does a 5.56 round graze your ear and like barely even leave a scratch? How do you have an ear? If it touched your ear at all, you wouldn't have an ear, bro. Like the odds are not just that he turned his head. It's that he turned his head, and the angle that his head was at in relation to the angle of the incoming trajectory of the bullet lined up from the beginning of his head to the end of his head so perfectly that it only barely grazed it the entire way. It isn't just the statistical odds that he turned his head and that one more inch it would have hit his head. It's like, no. The angle of his head once it was turned in relation to the angle of a 5.56 round would have to be perfect. Perfect. So, anyway, here's somebody talking about this years ago. All right, it says 3 months ago. Let's just say at least 3 months ago. I'm pretty sure this video was put out a couple years ago originally, but here's a preacher saying had a vision at least 3 months ago. If you haven't seen this, it's pretty crazy.
All throughout America, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting.
How crazy is that, bro? Now, let's talk about that. Okay. I think truthers, they need to really recalibrate pattern recognition sometimes. You get a little rusty where you auto-hoax everything. So, let me explain something to you. So many people are like, so what, was he in on it too? If it was faked, it wouldn't require that guy being on it, okay? It would require the people that wrote the script to stage the event to have seen this video and think, wow, this is perfect. Let's just do what he said. And then people will find the video and they'll be like, look, it was God. Okay. This guy doesn't have to be in on it. Is that an option? Sure. It's the least likely option. It's just circulated 100,000 views. They saw it. 100,000 views with this post. And they're like, yo, let's use that as a script. I want to point out a macro point. They're like, what do you get out of this? He was already beating Biden. What? According to the official numbers, he was barely beating him. And now tons of people that were on the fence are moving over to Trump. Now he's vindicated as a hero. Now all the Q supporters have allegedly been vindicated. Now people really believe the deep state is trying to get Trump. Now he's blowing the dude out in the quote unquote polls. What do they get out of it? Are you kidding me? Like, that's such a cope question to say, oh, he was already beating Biden. You mean barely, whenever the narrative is that you can't trust the election anyway. It can be stolen if it's within close parameter. But anyway, here's what they really get out of it. Okay, this is why I'm very open to it being faked. The thousands of really weird things that don't add up. But also, okay, so you got this happen with Trump. Then Trump names his VP Vance, who comes out immediately saying, we need to attack Iran. And when we hit Iran, you don't just barely hit them. You need to hit them hard. We have the vice president, this dude that's married to an Indian chick and super, super pro-Zionist, pro-Israel. I will be the most pro-Israel VP ever, blah, blah, blah. Just a clown. Just a complete clown. Trump just named him vice president after this assassination attempt, right? And then he comes out talking about how we need to hit Iran really hard. Now, if you don't know, that I think the world's a stage, it's all scripted. That is just World War III, obviously. If you attack Iran, then you attack Russia and you attack China, right? Like, as far as we can tell on the world stage. We all know this coming. It's been scripted and pre-programmed for years. Iran. Iran will be last. Iran is no pushover. Whatever, right? I mean, some theories are that Iran isn't part of like the international like cabal or whatever. Some say everyone is. Some say they're not. I mean, they don't have a space program. They just said they're going to go to Antarctica. The Iranian president gets shot. Who knows about that? But follow me. Trump assassination attempt. Names his vice president Vance, who comes out super pro-Israel, comes out talking about how we need to not just attack Iran, hit them so hard they could never recover. What a great thing to say right after being named vice president. Then the media comes out and says Iran is behind the assassination attempt. What do they get out of it? Oh, what could they possibly get out of it? Oh, I don't know, like literally starting World War III. Like, what could they get out of it? It's probably a coincidence. It's probably totally a coincidence. Totally a coincidence. And they're like, oh, Iran tried to get him again at the RNC. There was a shooting, and some are claiming it. The media is saying Iran was trying to assassinate Trump right after he named his vice president, who said he's going to go and attack Iran. Okay, there's plenty of stuff they can get out of faking it. Okay, so that's a cope. It doesn't matter. This is just like, why would they lie about the earth? It doesn't matter, bro. Like, we're just going to look at the evidence. So, obviously, this guy said this before the fact, said he had a vision from God. Option A, God really gave him the vision. God really protected Trump. God really had him move his head. He really hit the ground, had a revelation, came back to God, and then decided to name a super corrupt pro-Israel vice president right afterwards. Sure. You know, whatever. Oh no, it's 5D chess. Vance is 5D chess. You didn't know. We have to make Israel as strong as possible. That's the only way we can take them out. Duh. You're just not a patriot. You don't understand 5D chess. 5D chess, I can malleably make up whatever I want to with no evidence whatsoever and then gaslight you because Trump's a hero. Okay. Now. Stuff I can't even say on YouTube about him. Doesn't matter. I just think you guys need to know that. A lot of people don't know that that's the sequence of events here. Attempted assassination. Vice president says he wants to attack Iran harder than they could ever been attacked, and then the media starts saying that Iran tried to assassinate Trump. And something else that's very fascinating, right, is like it looks like the media, like the last 5 months, it's looked like the media's wanted Trump to be president. It's like they're not really attacking Trump anymore. They don't make outlandish attacks on him anymore, like the mainstream legacy media. And then they started attacking Biden recently. And then you have the debate that just it's just scripted. It's so bad. It's so terrible for Biden. So I'm just asking you guys to really think about this. My prediction for a long time, and you can get triggered if you want to, has been that Trump is the real threat. Trump is part of the play, and that they want everyone behind Trump to think he's a hero because he's 1,000 times more dangerous than someone like Biden. No one cares what Biden says, but if Trump tells you, there will be people that will convince themselves that it is for the good of their country or the family or whatever because Trump said it, including genetic modification. There are people that go around and say, oh, but he had to do that or whatever. He can get away with anything. He's way more of a threat than anybody. It's been my prediction for a long time. I don't trust the guy at all. He's a Kabbalist. Okay. So anyway, let's move to another video. That is pretty crazy, obviously, that guy said that. All right, and just to give you a little bit more here. Sorry, I gotta do 2 different tabs. But more into the Iranian narrative here. The U.S. received intel of an Iranian plot to assassinate Donald Trump. CNN. The U.S. received intel of an Iranian plot to assassinate Donald Trump. Oh, really? Really? That's convenient. This intel was allegedly obtained weeks before Crook's attempted assassination of Trump. However, no connection between the two incidents have been made. Why is it not showing me the rest? Show more. Okay. It is also alleged that after this information was obtained, Trump's Secret Service protection was ramped up. Do you believe this, or do you think it's fake news? It's clearly fake news. And if the Secret Service was ramped up, why did they operate? Is ramping it up putting a bunch of 5'5" out of shape females in charge? I don't understand. We are clearly under a very serious psychological operation right now, and if you don't at least know that, I don't know what to tell you. All of a sudden, everyone and their mom agrees that Trump's the hero. Seriously, bro. Like I said, I'm actually trying not to be biased because I predicted this and I don't want to be super biased. So here's where this guy's narrating it. Again, this isn't really definitive or anything for me, but let me come over here and I'll play it. Okay, let's see. Let's check out the odds here.
Take a look what happened. Take a look what happened.
Okay, now this animation cannot be corrected. The guy wouldn't have an ear. Look at that. That can't be correct. He would not have an ear, right? I'm trying to tell you guys that the physics is not as open and shut as you guys want to believe it is. Here's a guy that tried to break it down. This was spread proof of divine intervention. Really, if this animation was true, he would lose his ear right there. The bullet is literally within the width of his ear in this animation. How is this proof of divine intervention? This is proof that this objectively didn't happen. Now, I'm not saying that the bullet couldn't have grazed him. It didn't do this. Am I tripping, or is this actually stupid? This would rip his entire ear off. Dude, I mean, 5.56 is no joke. Obviously, 7.62 is like significantly more heavy duty. 5.56, I mean, have you people never shot guns? I'm so confused at the Patriot side. And I want to point this out too. All of a sudden, is gun illiterate. I want to point this out too. If this happened to Joe Biden, every single Trump supporter would immediately be questioning that it was fake. Every single Trump supporter. They'd be like, oh, this is a way to try to make Biden look tough and get him some rally, and we can't trust him. I mean, how laughable is it that the very people that have been saying that Biden has body doubles and that's not really him, and there's people wearing like skin suits of Biden, right? And if this happened to Biden, would obviously be saying it was fake. Or the same people that are gaslighting you, calling you crazy, insane, trying to belittle you, that you're not even allowed to ask questions. Really? I wonder why it's because you want this to be true and this benefits what you want to happen. That is not the way that you are supposed to investigate things. That's not what truthers do. You could be right about it being real. That is ridiculous, bro, the way some of you people are acting. It's ridiculous. Just like a Glover, like, oh, well, you think they planned, they scripted it so he'd turn his head just the right way. You know how risky that is? There's no way. No, that's a straw man. Like, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy. Not everything's a conspiracy. You think that Biden has body doubles, bro. And he may. I say a lot of pictures don't look like Biden. But it's not really the point. The point is that stuff like this, if you're sharing this proof of divine intervention, I mean, can I get feedback in the chat here? Am I tripping about this video? Like this would rip his ear off. How about this? Can I get a 1 in the chat if this animation would rip his ear off? Or can I get a 2 if it would just barely scratch him, or you can't even really tell where the wound is? Let's watch it again. 1 in the chat if it would rip his ear off. 2 if it would give him the barely give him a scratch, like what supposedly happened.
Take a look what happened. Take a look what happened.
Okay, see, and this was like a litmus test. We got a bunch of 1s, right? But there are some people putting 2s in the chat, and like, bro, this is objectively not physically possible for the bullet to be right there. Look at that. You can't even see his ear. That means his ear would be gone. The bullet went through his entire ear. And not only would his ear be gone, he'd start bleeding out profusely and die. Or have to be rushed to the hospital immediately. Right? Because all the blood rushing to your head profusely comes out of your ear. If you ever nicked your ear or cut your ear, it bleeds profusely, bro. Okay, now, again, let me clarify. Some people maybe not following. I'm not saying this means it's fake. I'm saying that this has like millions of views on X of people saying proof of divine intervention. This animation is objectively inaccurate and physically impossible to corroborate what we are told happened. So yeah, I get it. Like if he hadn't turned his head, right, the bullet would go through his head. He turned his head. Like that part, I get it. That part does make sense. You can see him turn his head. That would be the case, right? But this part of it is objectively impossible. Okay, just to give you please, you're pushing more people towards wanting to disagree with you. I'm not gonna fall into that trap. I'm not gonna make my decision based on how people act. But it's just like, come on, bro, just so stupid. Look, see, like this, it says, wow, 100% a miracle, 3.4 million views. And I've seen it posted by so many people, proof of divine intervention. It's like, no, it's proof that you're so emotionally invested that you can't even logically look at a 9-second video and critically assess it. That's all it proves. It's a ridiculous video. But anyway, now, here's some interesting stuff. Some people may not be familiar with this. The desperation is nauseating. I think from both sides, people are really being lame. Like from the it's fake camp and from the it's real camp, both sides are being super lame. Super lame, in my opinion. Like, why can't people have conversations like this where I point out the flaws in both sides? We logically talk. I don't know. I don't even know what happened to JFK. Realistically, I don't think anyone's ever gonna know. I don't think it's a big deal. I think that if we allow this is the reason that if it's fake, the psyop is so important to see through, though, is because the right wing, the truthers, the QAnon people are the biggest conspiracy theorists in the world. Like, oh, sure, he pushed genetic modification, brags about it to this day, says it's the greatest thing that science has ever brought us, and that it saved tens of millions of lives, and that everyone should thank him, and that every variation of it was super good, and that he got it, and that you should get it, and that it's amazing, and years later refuses to take it back. But actually, that's 5D chess. And actually, he was just doing it to save us. Like, what? What are you talking about? These are the people that say Hillary Clinton died in 2018. These are the, like, now all of a sudden us saying we don't know for sure this is real, it's just completely unacceptable conspiracy theory. It's like, that's the calls for censorship the other way. It's like, oh, well, look what they did to Alex Jones over Sandy Hook. Does that mean all the people on the left saying it's fake they have to pay money? It's like, no, they shouldn't. Are you like pro censoring speech now? You're pro like charging people money for free speech? Like, you see how the psyop, this is why the whole right left thing is such a joke. These people on the right are just like the people on the left, just slightly different in certain ways. Like when the narrative benefits you, you lose all cognitive ability. You start attacking the other side. You want to censor the other side. You want to get super emotional. You want to, like, you're just like the left. You're just like the left. And now the right's all about like homosexual marriage and acceptance and like all this like mass immigration. So like, what's even the difference anymore? I mean, there is some difference because the left has become so radical, but I said all that to say, like, dude, check yourself, bro. Check yourself. Some of you guys look ridiculous. I'm really, it sucks because I'm losing respect for lots of people, but it's a blessing. Like, you want to know people's true colors. And honestly, you can just always show humility and walk it back. You could always do that. All right, let's watch this next one. This is kind of in regarding the possibility of multiple shooters.
First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper!" First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
And yeah, and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas, like, or not gas, but smoke. To blind,
sure.
Blind up front. And he said it was, he heard it was gunfire, no hydraulic on the track. So the gunfire was coming toward the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots down the hill, and that's when they started flooding and pushing everybody out.
Okay. She says there was a sniper on the water tower.
And we couldn't call them. And so we started trying to go after them then when they finally let us up. And they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence.
And still, obviously, initial reports. But what we do know...
And we couldn't call them.
Okay, now these are just people there. But I'll say this, dude. I 100% don't agree with anyone claiming that everyone there was in on it. No, bro. Guys, that's not how you do these psyops, bro. You have the vast majority of people there have no idea. And I hate to break it to you guys, but the average Trump supporter isn't like 3 standard deviations above the normal distribution of IQ, right? Like, you, and like, no disrespect, I get along with that crowd way better in terms of like morals and conservatism and like hard work and all that, right? I'm just saying, like, you got a lot of people there that are just kind of like just there, bro, right? Let's be real. Like, it's called average IQ for a reason, and it's placed at 100 for a reason, and so I'm just pointing that out. I'm saying, like, why would you tell everyone? You would never do that. So that's the people claiming it's fake just making the mere notion of it look ridiculous. All right, let's.
And then he put the fist bump up.
Let's check this one out.
And then he put the fist bump up, stay strong, and they walked him off.
Aaron, what was going through your mind? What did you think when you first heard those sounds?
I thought what you just said. I thought it was fireworks. 4th of July. It's been pop, pop, pop. That's what it sounded like. The gentleman behind me, I was one seat. He was to the right of me. He could see the sharpshooter behind Trump. He said the sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here. Now, when I called my husband at home, who's watching TV, he said, I thought Trump hurt his ear when he went to the ground. But he said, no, on TV they showed before Trump hit the ground, the ear was bleeding. So that sharpshooter went across. Trump turned his head. His ear must have been nipped, and it killed somebody in the stands over to the left.
Could you see anyone injured?
And then he put the fist.
So obviously that girl's not the most reliable, as she couldn't even get the phrase he said correct. But when it comes to the blood, like the video doesn't really show blood, but supposedly the pictures do. So like the it's crazy that there's such a lack of really high quality video in this scenario. We'll read the donations in a bit. Shouts around Boston Bear. For super chats, read super chats. Ko-fi.com/Witsit. Ko-fi.com/Witsit. It's been a while. I get like 98% of those. I get 70% of YouTube, but we'll read them all off if you have any questions. But this person got a lot of stuff wrong. Let me talk about the blood though, right? Because he touches his ear, so he should have blood on his hand. Like, let's be very clear here, right? A 5.56 round, if it hits you in the ear, you're going to start profusely bleeding. It's your ear. It's connected to your head. So all the blood that's rushing to your head is going to profusely flow out of your ear. If a 5.56 round hits your ear, you're going to start profusely bleeding immediately. You're going to immediately start bleeding. So he touches his ear. He comes down. Now, on the video, you don't see any blood on his hand. And he noticeably makes contact with the very part, right, of his head that got shot, allegedly. Now, the picture that shows the bullet, there are 3 pictures, and I'll show them to you guys in just a second. And it shows blood on his hand. So there's an argument that, well, yeah, the video isn't the best quality. You can't really see the blood. But in the pictures, you can see blood. So now we're getting to where, okay, if it's fake, he had to have something he was holding on the podium, which his hand is on the podium. Right before he reaches up, his hand's on the podium closed. Then he reaches up and does this. He would have had to squeeze some fake blood in his hand and then reach up and done this because there's blood in the picture, or those pictures are fake. Now, I don't think the pictures are necessarily fake. Someone said run it through, you'll see it's AI generated. I don't think so. Like, to fake those pictures that quickly is very impressive because it's exactly the angles, exactly the everything that the shot looked like is in the picture, right? So I don't really necessarily vibe with the pictures are fake thing. Personally, I think that's kind of a stretch. Like, you have to be logical and honest about all of it if you want to actually figure it out. Anyway, the point is, then he comes down and he puts his hand on the podium again. So it's like, what was he doing with the podium? But maybe it's just coincidence. It could be because we do see him open his hand later on, though, when he starts waving. So he holds his fist up and then he waves. There's no blood on his hand. So I guess when the Secret Service tackled him, they're like, let's wipe your hands real quick. I don't know. Because then he comes up and all of a sudden there's blood everywhere. There's blood on his face. Now he could be bleeding, got tackled, blood got smeared as they're like trying to cover him up or whatever. But I didn't see any blood on his hand after he does this and then opens his hand. And that's really weird. So to me, that is really weird. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. If you get shot in the ear, you're going to be bleeding everywhere profusely. And guess what you're going to do? Guess what Secret Service is going to do if you get shot in the head? They're going to put pressure on your wound. This dude slowly gets up, gets to have his photo op, gets slowly walked to the car. You got some like out of shape Secret Service woman who can't holster her weapon, panicking, takes forever to get in the car, getting all kinds of photo ops. and never do they even like put pressure on his ear. They don't know the severity of the wound. He just got shot by a 5.56 round in the head that grazed his ear, and they're not putting pressure on the wound. Now, this is the problem, though. You can always just say incompetence. And 2024 is such a clown world. Everyone is grossly incompetent, and people that are in the government, most of them that were competent aren't in the government anymore after 2020. So it is possible that we have a lot of incompetent people. But I just want you guys to think about some of this critically. Okay. So, and of course, just to show you kind of the picture here, I gotta come over because it won't go full screen. We'll go to Chrome. You can see this would be the water tower right over here. So obviously it does have the elevation to see over the tree line. There could be multiple reports of a sniper here from eyewitnesses, and then also a shooter here that we also saw in the video. Now, that's not really the damning part of the two-shooter thing, in my opinion, but we'll see it in a second. All right. Don't know what to believe too many. I don't either. Like, this stream is actually just going to make things a bit more perplexing, but that's actually a good thing. Like, if you're super confident in your position right now, you're wrong. You may have the right conclusion, but the way that you've gotten to it is wrong. Like, if you're 100% one way or the other, you are wrong. I'm just telling you. Like, as in, you may have the right conclusion, but your line of logic, there isn't enough information available for you to be 100% about anything right now. That is a fact. And that's why I felt like, oh, I got to do this stream, because it seems like not that many people are. Okay, check this out. This is very interesting. Tell me what you guys think here.
See something that said, take a look what happened. See something that said, take a look what happened. What happened?
Okay, so we all agree we just saw the rail clearly get hit, right? The shot, there was a shot, and it hit right here. Like, everyone can agree. We heard a shot right whenever the rail gets hit, right? We can all agree on that.
See something that said, take a look what happened. See something that said, take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened.
Watch this guy at the same exact time as this guy.
Take a look what happened.
Okay, so for the coping, he isn't just ducking because he heard a shot. He's falling like he got hit by a bullet. Hey, tell me why we hear one gunshot and two people are getting hit, or there are two impacts of bullets. Now, for there to be two shooters, they are synchronized, right? That's like very impressive synchronization. But like, or this could all be fake. And like, they got their roles mixed up or whatever. But we see an actual bullet land right here. So for it's all fake people. It's like, does this guy have something that's going to make it look like a bullet at the same time? Seems highly unlikely. Is this a non-lethal round that shoots over here? Who knows? Are there real bullets and it's fake, as in Trump didn't get hit, but they're going to shoot in the crowd for real? Who knows? And like, could they really synchronize a shot so well that you can't tell there's two gunshots? I don't really think that's likely either, but this is super weird, right? Like, why are they both going down? I'm going to check the chat because I'm definitely open to me missing something here, but let me just play the video all the way.
Said, take a look what happened. See something that said, take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened.
Dude. Someone said maybe he's from Chicago, so he's used to reacting to gunshots really quick.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
What you know about rolling down the deep when your brain goes.
I mean, he doesn't, like, he falls like he's out of control. He isn't ducking.
Something that said, take a look what happened.
He falls down. Like, I guess it's possible that I will say it's definitely possible that he's just super uncoordinated and decided to crouch the same way you would fall if you got shot. You know, like, I don't know. he falls he falls. He doesn't really crouch, but
What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb? You can call a metal freeze when these people talk too much. Put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Yeah. What you
okay. So it's very interesting, and this guy obviously has a very specific theory. Actually, let me show you him over here. I mean, obviously, I know the people that really want to believe for sure that it's real are going to say that they know he was just crouching. But again, the people that say it's fake, like, are you going to pretend you didn't just see that rail get hit with a bullet? Like, it clearly just, like, a bullet just hit that rail, right? So, okay, let's see.
She says that I'm cool.
Why haven't they released how many casings they found on the roof? Like, why haven't they released casings or bullets anywhere, right? Why haven't we seen any of that?
She says that I'm cool.
Oh, weak words were in the song. I was confused. I'm like, who said a weak word?
Rolling down.
I'll just block out that. All right, let's. Trying to keep an eye on the chat. You guys think he just ducked? Music sucks, yeah. Well, all right. One, if you think the guy in the white was just ducking so incredibly fast that he should be in the Olympics, and he's also simultaneously so uncoordinated that he just went limp and fell down, or did it look like he was acting like he got hit with a bullet or got shot? I'm actually on the fence. I mean, didn't I just now add a bookmark? Why is it not? It's not working. I don't know. It's not working. I'm going to get it for you just a second.
Something to say.
Okay. Actually, I haven't seen this one. We got so much more to go through, though.
Something to say. Take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened. If you want to really see something to say, take a look what happened.
What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb? You can call a metal freeze.
Oh, shut up. Yo, I will say, like, did you guys hear at one point they came off and they were saying that it was shards from the projector that hit him? It was glass shards that hit him. There was an actual story that it wasn't a bullet, it was the glass shards from where the bullet hit. Like, what? So he's saying that's evidence of two shooters. I guess some people can certainly disagree. But if you combine that with all the people claiming that they literally saw a sniper over here, it is interesting, right? You got to be honest here. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a bad angle until I go full for you guys. All right, let's just keep going. Okay, this is also really weird. It's also really weird. Okay, why do these people start running? I'm like, personally, guaranteed there's multiple shooters. Like, let's say there was an actual shooting that nicked Trump. Okay. I mean, for one, people are like, see, God's protecting him. It's like, this dude is the most blasphemous person I've ever seen in my life. And he's the most pro-Israel president ever. I don't think so, you know, but who knows? People could say, oh, he was changed in that moment. And yeah, the creator does act in mysterious ways. He's even used the Pharaoh, right? But anyway, people acting like Trump's like, I mean, come on, bro. Dude is super suspect, bro. All right, anyway, let's look at this video.
Months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened. Couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Hi there. I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead.
Couple of months old, and if you want
Why is the guy already running?
to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Yeah, I guess you could say he saw the guy. He saw the shooter and was like, just started running. I don't know. And they're claiming here, look.
Probably.
Look in the background here.
20 million people.
This is where all the police cars are. I mean, the building. Now watch these people, bro.
Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that
They start running before there are any shots. Look at this.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Now you could say that he was positioning to really take the shot, and that, look, if you look closely, this guy turns around and looks again, then he just instinctively starts running, and the girl follows. So like, he was just propped up to take the shot prone. This guy, same thing. He could tell he's about to take the shot. What's even crazier, if you look, this building is where the shooter is, right? You see the cop car right here. Cop car right here. This is actually cop cars right here. This is the building. This is the building that the cops were using. Supposedly this is full of cops and Secret Service. Official story. They've come out today and made the official statement. There were cops using this building along with Secret Service as one of the primary places they were stationed.
If you want to really...
So, pretty suspect. Obviously, if there are some weak words in videos, I can't do anything about it. Now, we're not going to watch this, but this guy brings up some pretty good questions about the video, or about the assassination.
They're saying that Trump was around here in front of these 3 red buildings, giving his speech. There's a sniper on the roof over here looking directly ahead.
I mean, just on its face, the story is ridiculous, but, I mean, everyone's seen this. I guess we can watch it, but this guy's sketchy. But maybe you haven't seen it somehow.
Innocent of 9/11.
All right, let's listen to some of these questions.
Then all of the Secret Service agents and or makeup artists rush in.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready.
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
You ready?
Shooter's down. Shooter's down.
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move?
Shooter's down. We're good to move.
We're clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Shooters down. Like, how do you know there's not more than one shooter? And when everyone has been saying, for even the Secret Service has been sending pictures of a guy, everyone in the crowd sees a shooter, according to the official story and eyewitnesses, for minutes and minutes. Why would you not be already having taken him off the stage? And better yet, how do you know there's not more than one shooter? I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Get him up. Oh, shooter's down. Shooter's down. Get him up. Like, it's just so weird.
And then you see him stand up with a bloody ear, blood dripping all over his face,
Let me get my shoes.
and he puts his fist up in the air and says, "Fight! Fight! Fight!"
And this guy has pointed out, obviously, that if you actually look at the video at first, I guess we can listen to a little bit of this. You think it's a coincidence that it keeps freezing on this guy's interview? How's that not weird? It only freezes on that guy's interview.
100%. Like, why is Trump still speaking? Wife of the building beside us.
And the Secret Service was trying to let Trump keep this.
And we walked up, listened to the
And if that's the case, this whole thing blows wide open.
and watched and listened to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him.
It's just too perfect for the
And that was it. It was over.
videos showing the fireball to indicate that day he's pointing about to the right. There's a big sign to his right. He's looking to his right. I'm thinking about.
Sorry, I was muted. Dude, you don't see blood there. His hand goes really fast, but if you get shot in the ear with 5.56, you're going to be bleeding profusely. Conveniently, this guy's making the point that conveniently, if you look at like into 9/11 and where there are planes, conveniently they hit on opposite sides, so everyone's filming the one side that supposedly got hit by a plane, and it only had one person catch it that was just coincidentally there filming like some pipes or something, and then everyone's looking at that side of the 9/11 building, and then the plane supposedly comes in from the other side, right, where all you see is an explosion. And then if you look into that, I mean, we've caught them actually using CGI for the planes on 9/11, which is super suspect. So he's pointing out that when you do a psyop like this, it comes down to angles and like basically stage magic, which is a good point. That's how they did 9/11, right? And conveniently, we have like no footage from behind Trump to see this, to see his ear, and he turns to his right. So conveniently, where the camera can't see his ear. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like a 5.56 hits your ear, you don't have an ear anymore. I'm just baffled if that actually happened. It is way crazier statistically than people are saying.
The angles here. He's looking to his right. Like he's pointing to.
How convenient that he's looking that way.
The right. There's a big sign to his right. To his right. He's pointing to the right.
Okay, tell me if you guys see blood on his hand.
There's a big sign to his.
There's no blood on his hand.
He's looking to his right. He's pointing to the right. There's a big sign to his right. His right ear is obstructed.
And so there.
Big sign to his.
They're saying, like, if you see his hand is closed.
Trump today. I'm thinking about the angles here. He's looking to his right. He's pointing to the right. There's a big sign to his right.
I don't think he's holding something personally.
He's looking to his right. He's pointing to the right. There's a big sign to his right.
Some people are saying like he's holding something, puts it up to his ear, then sets it back down.
His right ear is obstructed from all...
I don't think so. Because of the way he's holding the podium, I don't know how he could be holding
all the camera angles. Then you hear some shots go off. He clutches his ear and he falls to the ground.
We see something that said, take a look at what happened.
And like actually now looking back, like the acting, I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to fake, honestly. He just like acted kind of shocked and went down.
And then all of the Secret Service agents and or makeup artists rush in.
5.56 anybody? I've not seen the report. Yeah, I mean, it says AR-15 that shoots 5.56. I mean, if you're talking about actually seeing a round, then no. They applied the makeup. I mean, yeah, that's obviously if it's fake, then they put the blood on him. But I will say, there's a picture that supposedly shows blood on his hand. Dude, if this is all real, think about the amount of coincidences, bro. Like, supposedly, just luckily, there was someone taking pictures with 8,000 frames per second directly during this moment. I mean, what does that do? Just plan on changing his memory card the entire... he came with 30 memory cards. He's just going to change his memory card the entire rally. He's just going to take pictures at the very beginning, fill up his memory card, and leave. Why would you be taking pictures at 8,000 frames per second? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a photographer. I don't know. That sounds like something you would do if you were going to try to catch a bullet on camera. You know? But... it's just like there's so many statistical improbabilities here. That's why everyone that thinks it's real, they're just defaulting to God did it. Like that's how you know your story isn't particularly strong. You're all just defaulting to God did it.
Moving his spear. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Hawkeye's here.
Stand up, puts his fist up in the air and says, fight, fight, fight.
Why is he wide open right here? He's like, no, let me put my shoes on.
Watch out.
Wait. Fight. So he's talking the whole time. We can hear him, but then he doesn't talk. So, I mean, it goes from no blood on his hand, no blood anywhere, to like blood all over his face. You get the photo op, he throws up the Nazi symbol.
And note, there's no blood on his right hand that can be seen. He makes the mistake of opening his hand a couple of times and not just doing the fist in the air. And when you see his palm, there's no blood, even though he had put his hand up against his right ear to indicate that he had been hit visually before.
And he's not touching it. He's not putting pressure on it. If you just got shot in the ear, you wouldn't be like touching your ear. You wouldn't have something like, no one's putting pressure on his ear. Dude, you could live in a cave, come out as a 50-year-old that's lived in a cave their whole life, never seen a gun, seen someone get shot by a gun. Instinctively, you're going to be like, dude, we need to like cover this and press it, right?
Or he falls to the ground. And they get shuffled off to the hospital, they say.
Never at any point in time do they freaking press that dude's ear. Because if it was fake, I mean, now let's be fair. If it was fake, you wouldn't be touching it. You just now made it look like that.
The perfect image was shot in the ear here. This would have either been. And they're saying, oh, the Secret Service should be fired. Elon Musk tweeted out this testimony that was on BBC.
Okay, here's one of the most damning parts to me, and we'll get a better shot of it in just a second. All right, this is supposedly his ear. I don't even know where, like, how do you have, okay, you have this, like, this dried up, it looks dry already, but you have this blood right here. Is this a wound? Why is there such a like concentration of blood right here? If that's a wound, he doesn't have an ear anymore because the 5.56 had to hit the front of his ear, which means all this part of his ear is gone. So you have a bunch of blood here, a bunch of blood here, a bunch of blood up here. Did it graze him right here? Then why is there a pool of blood right here? Right? Like, I don't understand. Have they even released the official claim as to where he was struck? No. Now there's claims of how he's actually missing part of his ear. They haven't even told you the official wound yet. Everyone would put their life on it. They're 100% sure they know it's real. And no one even knows where the wound is. No one's even seen it. This is the best we got. And I just want to understand, someone enlighten me. If this is the wound, then how does he still have an ear? Are we just slow now? This can't be the entry wound. And if it is the entry wound, why is there no blood up here, but all this blood back here? To me, that just looks super sketchy. I'm just saying. Like, I'm saying maybe, I can't even think of, like, I don't know. I would, if this is the entry wound, I'm confused how there would be any wounds back here. Because that means that the bullet had to come in at an angle going away from his head, right? It would have to come in. How did it just seems so incredibly unlikely? Like, it's so crazy. And they're not even putting pressure on it. You wouldn't be able to see this dude's ear if he really got shot in the ear, in my opinion, unless everyone involved is super stupid. And that is possible.
It looks very paste-like. It looks like they have some blood-colored goo they put on the perimeter of his ear. Why would all the blood be on the top right of his right ear? Like that? Where exactly are they saying he got hit? And how does this blood pattern make any sense? There's a big blob right above his ear canal. And then there's this blob of goo, colored like blood.
He has pictures of today with the bandage on solves your question, but that literally doesn't solve my question. Like, the bandage is the exact opposite of solving my... I'm saying we haven't got to see the wound. They haven't even officially said what happened. There are reports that he's missing part of his ear. He originally came out on True Social and said, oh, he's fine. And it was... he kind of felt weird hearing for a second, but he's fine. There's nothing wrong. Now they're saying he's missing part of his ear. Like, I don't know. Like, if we come and we see part of his ear missing forever, then that would be much more convincing. Like, are they that dedicated? He's going to always wear a fake ear. Like, they're going to cut off part of his ear. Like, I don't know. We haven't seen that. They haven't even told us the wound yet. It seems like the first thing you would do. It just seems like this. Like, it seems like pictures from the hospital of his wound would be all over the freaking internet. I don't know. It seems weird.
On the top right of his ear. To me, this looks like a total...
And I'll be honest, like, it is crazy that we live in a world where I have to be this skeptical of all of it, but I do. And if you don't think you do, then either you're not particularly informed on false flags, or you're emotionally biased. And if you think you know for a fact it's fake, you're also desensitized and you auto-hoax things.
Really intact ear that's covered with fake blood. All things considered here.
Yeah, that's not even the most damning part. I'm just going to see if we get a better angle before I say it.
So just to be clear, they're saying that Trump had his ear hit off camera and nobody can see any blood. Had his ear hit off camera and nobody can see.
Someone was like, he was leaning down. Now there's a way better shot. This dude got shot with a 5.56 round in his right ear, and not one drop of blood on his white shirt. Not one single drop of blood is on the collar of his white shirt. Have you guys ever cut your ear? It bleeds profusely, man. No, like, I mean, who knows? Again, these could be lots of coincidences, but to me, it just seems super logical there'd be blood all over his shirt.
See any blood until all these Secret Service agents and or makeup any blood on.
So let's just try to, we're going to go through a few more of these real quick because we could be here all day. Anyway, I'll drop some of these videos in my Telegram. Okay, so here is the infamous picture here. Okay. Okay, if you look here, well, let me zoom in. How convenient. Anyway, you can kind of see it. There's blood on his hand in the picture here. So this has got the bullet right here. Then he reaches for his ear. Then there's blood. So supposedly there was blood, and you just can't see it on the video. Here, let's watch this. So supposedly there was a report randomly on an X space a few days before saying that he got assassinated. And it's recorded. Watch. Which is obviously very weird. Sorry, I have to find it on the other platform.
Space, about 400 people. It was Alpha Warrior, Maze, Love, and MV. And at about 1:45 Eastern time, this is the announcement that came out on the Twitter space randomly.
You opened your mic, I saw you.
I did. I just need to see if this is true. I heard that there was an assassination attempt on Trump tonight and that Comcast is down. Is there anyone that's heard any of this or can validate any of this? And where the hell did Alpha go? Because he probably... all right, I don't know. I just wanted to announce that. I announced it before I validated.
Okay, and then about half an hour later, people were checking, and then this came out.
I reached out to her and asked her where she heard it, and she said that somebody, I guess she's in Clubhouse right now, and she said that somebody that's in there in Pennsylvania, where apparently he's at, is reporting from there. And they said that the Comcast was down, and I guess it's down across the East Coast. I don't know. I'm looking into that too, but I haven't seen anything. I don't know.
So it's weird. They, many days beforehand, they say that there is a Trump assassination in Pennsylvania. What are the odds? Okay, we're gonna finish it up with some meta because I think I have to go help with Aaliyah. I think she's having a rough time. Let's watch this right here.
Wilson. Thanks for coming in. Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to.
What if it's a trap? Global power is shifting. just a pawn. You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers. You're right. I'm not.
Okay, so predictive programming. Now, let me run through some facts. It's just going to be me talking real fast, but it was all good. So I'll show you one of them. Obviously, there are some things that I just kind of assume that people already know, right? So obviously, the shooter, the alleged shooter, he was on the roof. He was seen by many people, multiple times. All kinds of videos showing the shooter, people screaming that there's a shooter, people telling the cops, people trying to tell the Secret Service, people trying to point it out. Supposedly now official narrative, the Secret Service guy actually saw him, took a picture of him, reported him as suspicious, all this stuff, completely all ignored. So now, again, I pointed out that if Trump was actually shot at, then that guy was a patsy. There was an additional shooter. In my opinion, it's all set up. And the government does not just randomly put out some 20-year-old and hope he actually hits Trump. That's not how they do things. They would have multiple shooters. If there were, then how did he not get shot? Maybe they didn't want to blow their cover, but that's how it works. At the least, they got the patsy up there, then they took him out. So, because, dead man tell no tell. So, obviously, I didn't feel the need to point that out. I think everyone already knew that. Real quick. Here, I'll show you this video. This right here. You see the cue board here. It says where you go one, you go all. Emmys, red carpet Emmys, of course, the awards you get for a TV show. And it says fight, fight, fight with the actual picture of him holding his fist up. Complete predictive programming. So here, I'm gonna wrap this up because Leah's having a hard time. Sorry. I will try to read the donations next time. I'm sorry I can't have to go help with her. But long story short, I'm just going to kind of reiterate the overall meta here, which is that, there's also the Illuminati card that has Trump, what looks like Trump screaming on it, and it says, at any time, any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Tons of predictive programming about this very thing. And all the quote-unquote truthers are running with the fact that they know that he was really trying to be assassinated, and that they all of a sudden, like Alex Jones believes the official narrative of a single shooter, 20-year-old random crazy person. So there's evidence that we didn't get to where it looks like there were multiple shooters, multiple eyewitnesses saying that there was also a shooter on the water tower. That sounds more in line with how the government would do it. Similar to JFK, there were multiple shooters. They blamed it on the one guy, then they killed him so he couldn't say anything, and then it was unsolved for 50, 60 years, and they refused to declassify the documents right after JFK said that AIPAC had to register as a foreign entity, which means they'd have to admit who funded them, right? So we know who was really behind that. That doesn't make sense they're normally the number one suspect, Mossad, but that wouldn't really make a lot of sense with Trump since he's the most pro-Israel president ever. There's tons of people within the Q think saying there will be a fake Trump assassination pulled off by the white hats soon. Trust me, it's all in the plan and blah, blah, blah. So that's also very weird. It's weird that there's all these predictive programs. This guy say he has a vision, all this stuff that line up. And you may really be like, oh, Trump's a hero. God's protecting him. God did that. God did that. Like, the dude is evil, and I have many streams exposing him. So I don't buy that. I don't think it's necessarily all fake. There's obviously lots of theater. There's lots of misdirection. There's lots of misinformation and propaganda. It's definitely a psychological operation, which is why I'll leave you with this. Don't get too emotionally invested into what's going on here, because that's why the psychological operation gets for divisiveness and emotionally charged overreaction and action and blah, blah, blah. They may have actually wanted to trauma-based mind control the world and have him shot, and it didn't work. And in that case, it would have to be some type of like miraculous intervention, basically, for that to be the case. I will say it's super sketchy. They don't press his wound. They don't show us his ear. The wound pattern doesn't really make sense. Secret Service conveniently leaves wide open spots for him to get his photo op in. It matches the predictive programming on the cue boards where it literally has his fist up saying fight, fight, fight. It's just super weird. Now people say, well, Trump does it all the time, and that's why it matches. Who knows? So I'm sorry I have to rush to the end of the stream, but Leah's having a hard time. Obviously, we have a newborn baby, so there's the other baby, so I have to be able to help because Aurora wakes up frequently and needs to be fed, and so I have to be able to help. It's just very bad timing. Aaliyah's having like a crazy issue with her teeth. It's really sad, honestly, because she's in pain and she's crying. So I'm going to go down there and help with Aaliyah. But I will say it's definitely super sketchy. It's not in the bag. They're saying that apparently I just found out from the Rumble chat that building that the sniper or that the shooter was supposedly on was sold 4 months before this. It was full of police officers and Secret Service. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. So definitely don't just run with the narrative that fits your bias. It's super sketchy. We'll have to try to revisit it, and I'll put things more together because unfortunately I just have to go. But I do think you guys, yeah, we were blessed. We have a beautiful, healthy baby, Aurora. Thank you for all the wishes and all the support. And so I'm kind of preoccupied with that, but I'm going to come back now streaming, obviously, frequently. So be on the lookout for that. I am working on something really, really big that I can't announce yet, but it's going to be very cool. So shout out to everyone on Rumble. I think we're around 2,000 across platform right now. So that's very cool. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I feel bad that I can't read your super chats. Not a Professor Dumbs. Dave uploads 650,000 plus views. That's cool. Thank you. Silly super chat test. Thank you. Earth First Space Later. I dislike truthers for calling everything fake, but with each event happens, I find myself going with the fake default. I think you need to be skeptical until proven true. Linda McMahon is on board of directors. I sent a video with timer, multiple videos synced to see what's going on from different perspectives. Sorry, I can't watch it. I have to go. Run Boston, thank you, though. I have seen that where it shows it. Again, that just shows that everyone saw the shooter before it happened, and somehow Secret Service didn't do anything about it, at the least. I think it's either all a movie or it was an inside job. Yo, man, your debate etiquette and logic is unmatched. I'm in Tampa, too. We should kick it one day, bro. I hope the fam's thriving. Check your Facebook messages. Email me, bro. I don't get on Facebook. Thank you for the $10. Commercial, sound and video, why the gunshots are late according to the live film, and why does also the sniper on the roof, like his bullet moves 3 times in tandem with those shots. It's all very weird. I appreciate the objective analysis. Thank you, man. I'm 100% with line of thinking presented today. Awesome. Thank you guys for the support. Sorry if I missed anything. If it's on Ko-fi, I'll check it out later. Also, if you sign up to be a Miswet, you'll get thrown into the Discord. That should be active. I've been having issues trying to find somebody I can trust to help me run it. Okay, I love you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Let me move over. The video, and then we're gonna get out of here. Copy. It won't let me copy. We'll just do the starting screen. So, all right. I love you guys. I'm really sorry that it's ending like this, but it is what it is. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. Follow me on X. I'll kind of give my take on certain things as they develop there. We'll do more of a follow-up, maybe a Donald Duck 2.0, where I'll have a lot of it lined up and I'll have more to finish because I'm still on the fence right now. All right. I love you guys. Always look to the truth no matter how. Now on both sides, quote-unquote truthers and normies and all this, everyone's freaking out. Who cares? Just be objective and seek and speak truth unequivocally, even when you get attacked, because what's true is rarely popular, what's popular is rarely true. All right, I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big Pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them as simple that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it if news anchors informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we courting ships, important gifts, of course it is. But extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers These actors say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big Pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?